fucking animals!
This is the Lusty Bison, and we are bringing you the betting zoo, the only place to bet with fucking animals. At the Lusty Bison on TikTok, and today we have the Probability Penguin with us.
Good to be with you as always, Lusty. How's your Christmas week been?
It's been good. We'll get into it. First, I want to tell
All right.
the listeners and watchers that we will be bringing the award show to you guys in the coming weeks. Keep your ear to the wall. We got some special things coming. But I would venture to say that this week, the week between Christmas and New Year's, is the best week of the entire year. Thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. It's built in that you're not meant to do a damn thing. I tell you, yesterday I watched 2 full Spider-Man movies. I watched Monday Night Football. I drank my face off all day, and for about 15 minutes in the middle there, I did some organization in my garage, and I had the nerve to think to myself at the end of the day, I sure had a productive day. I mean, that's the bar is set so remarkably low. How about you?
Yeah, I just live like an irresponsible child. I wake up and I eat cookies, and there was a bowl game on today at noon. I had no idea what was going on. My bathroom schedule is out the door. Meals come at any time. It's anarchy. It's an actual betting zoo in my house.
I think it's what Jesus would have wanted.
Speaking of Jesus, Probability Penguin, why don't you give a little love to one of the great ones that we lost?
Yeah, absolutely. John Madden, he was one of the absolute greats. The guy is football. The name is inseparable from the sport that we all love. He passed away today. He and his family are in our hearts, and rest in peace to the big guy. He'll always be part of the game.
Yeah, I think that was handled well. We're not the podcast to get into the details and minutia of his life, but his influence on the game has to be noted. So, thanks for all you brought to sport, man. The greatest sport on earth. All right, our first topic brought to you today by Prize Picks. Use promo code THEZOO, all caps. Get in there. Your first deposit will be met 100% once you make your first bet. But the Penguin and I have been splitting hairs a bit this week. So the NFL MVP award will be announced at the end of the season. They're doing that special this year. And Probability Penguin had a little problem with it. He seems to think that Jonathan Taylor should be leading the pack on all discussions for NFL MVP. I happen to disagree. I think calling it the MVP is fine. We're operating in a game that focuses on the quarterback. To put some things in perspective with other sports, the MVP in the NHL, it's been over 20 years since a defender or a goalie won that award. It's been 9 years in the NFL since a running back won the award. Offensive stats are all that matter, and we live in the best quarterback era ever. I think whatever the opposite of recency bias is what's going on in the probabilities head right now, because yes, it may get a little mundane hearing another quarterback win, but the quarterbacks winning are among the top 4 or 5 ever. So probability, you got a counterpoint?
Yeah, well, I guess first I should say, for the most part, we always get along in the zoo, and I think this speaks to that, in that even in disagreeing with you, I can't disagree with any of the points you've just made. I guess my counterpoint would to the larger argument about the distribution of the award would be this, and this is not a case that I'm inventing. There's a movement out there for this kind of thing. Call it the most valuable quarterback. Call it league quarterback MVP. And I'm not taking anything away from the fact that the quarterback is the most valuable position in the game. I just think that if we're going to have these players at other positions that are absolutely blowing the statistics out of the water, I mean, if Justin Tucker doesn't win the award this year, and I'm not even arguing that he should, but if he doesn't, that means to me a kicker is ineligible, right? Unless all 32 starting quarterbacks wind up hospitalized, that position is just not going to get acknowledged. So I think what I like to bring up is the baseball concept of replacement. So in baseball, they keep the statistic, hits above replacement, runs above replacement. And while the quarterback has the greatest influence on the game of the players on the field, unquestionably, I think what makes you valuable in the league is your impact above replacement. And I think there's a case to be made that Jonathan Taylor is doing more as compared to your average running back than is Aaron Rodgers compared to your average quarterback. You're right that we're living in an exceptional age of quarterbacks, and part of what that means is that the top 5 guys are all absolutely blowing it out of the water, and I just don't see Aaron Rodgers as being, in his stat lines, right? He's just not particularly different. He doesn't stand out on paper from a Mahomes, from a Herbert, from a Brady.
I can't buy it, man. MLB players are easy to put that WAR or wins above replacement because they all have the same job. Kickers live in a world where their max impact is 3 points. There's no way you can make the argument that that's worth the same amount of quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I hear where you're coming from, and that's the case, right? That most valuable player, if it means in fact most impactful player, kind of inherently is incredibly biased towards the quarterback. And if that's the definition we want to keep, I'm only arguing that we make that a rule by definition, give it to quarterbacks, and honor other players. Let's not pretend that other positions are eligible, is my only point.
I mean,
Open
other
it up.
positions are eligible, though. In the league, there have been MVPs outside of the quarterback realm more recently than in other sports, even pitchers in baseball.
Yeah, point taken. I guess let me ask you this. If Derrick Henry had finished the season that he was on pace for, which would have been record-setting in a great number of ways, would you have advocated for Derrick Henry as winning the award over Aaron Rodgers?
If he was the most valuable player in football because of his contribution being record-setting, then absolutely. However, last year he had a 2,000-yard season. It was awesome. It was not record-setting. They had a decent record. I believe the Titans won 11 games last year, but there's no way that impact was as great as, say, this week when Wentz goes out and his backup quarterback comes in, and you see Jonathan Taylor's ability to win a game on his own.
I think that's a good place to leave the conversation because, I think that what we may see is that you can put an average game-handling quarterback in at the helm of that team, and Jonathan Taylor is still going to drive the thing.
I guess. Jonathan Taylor has 17 touchdowns this year. That's nothing to snub your nose at. That's equal. That's what Derrick Henry had last year. He's not going to touch the total yards that Derrick Henry had. He would need over 200 yards.
No question.
But you're right about he could easily blow that touchdown total out of the water.
Well, let's revisit this next week when after we've seen the game.
Yeah, I hope he breaks his clavicle. All right, Penguin. I'm going to throw it to you for your weekly stats section. I know you've been preparing for this.
All right. Well, so we're going to do things a little bit differently this week. In the spirit of the holidays, we're going to do a bit of a Christmas theme to our stats segment. So without further ado, on the 17th week of football, my true love gave to me Did you know penguins mate for life? Anyway, these are the 12 stats of Christmas. 12. 12 wins for the Packers, which gives them the standalone record league in the NFL, but not the position of Vegas Super Bowl favorite. That honor belongs to the Red Hot Chiefs. 11. An 11-point average margin of loss over the Raiders' last 3 games. Despite Derek Carr's prolific passing numbers, this team is a train wreck. 10. 10 squared, that is. That's 100% deposit match, up to $100 when you bet on Prize Picks with promo code THEZOO. Number 9. That's the Chicago Bears number for their Super Bowl MVP, quarterback Nick Foles, who led his team to a win with a gutsy 2-point conversion against the Seahawks in his first action this season. Why doesn't this guy get more work? 8. 8-game winning streak for the Chiefs. That's the best in the league. 7. 7-game winning streak for Miami, following a 7-game losing streak to put them in 7th place in the AFC. By the way, that's the first time a team has had a 7-game winning streak and a 7-game losing streak in the same season. 6. 6 teams have clinched a playoff berth, with another 18 teams still alive. 5. That's how many games the Cardinals have dropped in the last 8 after starting out 7-0. I'll offer Kyler the advice my father offered me as a young man. Get your shit together or so help me God. 4. 4 games with double-digit spreads this weekend. Blowouts are coming, my friends. 3. In his last 3 games, David Mills has thrown 5 touchdowns and just a single interception. Houston isn't a good team, but surely they're good enough to cover a 15-point spread against the 49ers. 2 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the predicted temperature in Green Bay on Sunday evening. Bring your gloves, cheeseheads. This could be a low-scoring affair. And a buzzer beater beat for the Jags. All right, 2 more stats I want to mention that didn't fit that formula. First, with Ian Book's loss leading the Saints last night, former Notre Dame quarterbacks have lost 24 consecutive starts in the NFL. Second, I got to update you on my favorite streak in the NFL. Cam Newton has now outgrown the 12 stats of Christmas because he has lost 13 consecutive games as the starting quarterback for the Panthers.
Great work. Great digging. I love it. Texans, man. I didn't realize that he could ball like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's one of the greats, but he's showing success in a system that doesn't offer him a lot of talent at the other positions. So we'll see. I think he's got a good shot to cover this week.
It sounds like he's doing enough to win MVP. 15 against the Niners. Love it. Especially because,
Absolutely.
I mean, I guess, is it that much of a downgrade if they roll out Trey Lance? I know he's a young dude, but.
So that's an interesting question. I mean, Trey Lance, he didn't look great his first time out. He's going to try and win this thing with his legs. So again, there's a chance they roll Jimmy G out there with a busted thumb. But in all likelihood, we're going to see Trey Lance. And I think there's a chance that they win that game. The 49ers do, scoring less than 15 points. So I like Houston in the 15.
Okay. I love it. I'm going to bring you some locks this week that I like. Last 3 weeks, I've been 5-1. I did lose my one and only pick last week, which was the Jaguars against the Jets. I figured if the Jets were giving points to any team, you take them, especially during COVID times. However, that brings me to my first recommendation before I get into the locks. My first recommendation this week is that any bet you make, whether you agree with me, whether you don't, same with the Penguin, I want you to place that bet at $12.59 on Sunday. The reason being, COVID is ravaging the league. We don't know who's starting and who's not. Fantasy is off the rails right now. So just make sure you know the team you're betting on. Second,
Amen.
I like the Chiefs minus 5.5 against the Bengals. I know that's crazy. I know the Burrow's doing wild things right now, but he's playing in a different tier this week. When the Chiefs are hot, they are unlike any team in football that I've seen. Uh, I think the Chiefs are going to bring that team back down to earth. I think Burrow has an amazing future, but Patty's going to take care of business. And my lock this week, Birds minus 3.5. I know that Washington got completely embarrassed last week, but that's never stopped them before from dropping to new lows. I want you to also look out for a Birds to make the playoffs bet. That should give you around plus 300 to 350, depending on the book. And they are kind of in the fast lane. They're in the passing lane right now to make the playoffs. So look out for that. We'll get back to that. And I'm going to throw it over to the Penguin for his picks.
Yeah, well, first of all, let me say I love your picks. The Chiefs' defense has been white hot lately.
Mm-hmm.
Let me cover my picks from last week. Went overall 5-2 with those picks, so we'll take that. Unfortunately, one of the two L's I took was on my lock of the week. So I got to eat some crow there, which is especially fucked up because I am also a bird. But let's talk this week. I mentioned that I like Houston with the points. I'm going to give one more game, and it's going to be my lock of the week. I like the Bucks to cover against the Jets in this one. They're giving up 13 points. That's a big number. But man, are the Jets just outclassed in this matchup. I expect this one to be over early and the margin to be big. That's what I got, Lusty.
I love when you put your penguin towel between your legs and just ride Tommy into the sunset. Oh, it feels good. I fucking love Tommy. All right, that's about all I got for you on this end. Any closing words, Penguin?
I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday season. Go out there and make some money. It's what the spirit of the season is all about.
Beautiful. Love it. Betting Zoo. Dig it. Thank you.